this one, I will then.
Okay, I'll call to order the July 22nd, 2008 meeting of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency. May we have the roll call, please?
Agency members: Raymond.
Here.
Quintero.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Yusakian. Here. Chairman Najarian.
Here. May we have your report?
Agenda for the July 22nd, 2008 regular meeting of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency was posted on Thursday, July 17th, 2008 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you. The next item?
Approval of minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Without any objections or corrections, the minutes will be accepted as submitted. Next item, please.
Next item is oral communication. Discussion is limited time, is not part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Members of the redevelopment agency may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. The matter may be referred to staff through the executive director for an investigation and report.
I have a card from Herbert Milano.
Good afternoon. My name is Herbert Milano, members of the redevelopment agency and city staff. I don't make it a practice to either comment on or make slight of any comments made by the city manager, because at the end of the day, he only carries the policies and follows the direction that you give him. So I take whatever activities and whatever direction he takes as being your directive. But last week, when I brought up the issue that we needed to bring some type of accountability to the $77 million subsidy we gave Caruso Affiliated, he mentioned something that it is partially true with regard to what the purpose of redevelopment is. Basically, take a blighted area and improve it. But as I read the whole concept of the redevelopment law, a blighted area could also be economically blighted, because we know that the area in question where the Americana is was not blighted in terms of crime, was not blighted in terms of its physical appearance, except for the large parking lots. But other than that, it was not a blighted area in the term that most people and most lay people know, but it was blighted with regard to its economic potential. And I never was against the whole concept of bringing in the type of development that Caruso Affiliated could bring. It's very imaginative, and it definitely is a thriving and enticing place to be. My issue was with the finances. And the issues that concerned me a great deal was the fact that the principal on the bond and the interest on the bond were never calculated as part of the net return. The city, I believe, spent tens of thousands of dollars by hiring an independent consultant that would help the city provide justification, the financial justification for the project. So if we cared to spend that much money in a financial justification to a consultant to tell us this is where the potential benefit for the city is, should we not then, once the project is concluded and completed, come back to the original concepts and the original justification and say, let's see how our projections came about. This project was going to have initially a negative impact on the shops along Brand Boulevard for 1 year. And then the document stated it was going to improve thereafter. The documents also, and other related documents, was going to state as well what the actual impact was going to be on traffic. And yet the things that I asked for at the time, things such as, let's get a baseline on the traffic speeds along Colorado and Brand and Central, so that then we can compare those traffic speeds to once the Americana is completed. By having a baseline, it will tell us whether or not our projections and the quality of the consultants merited, the type of funds and money and effort that we spend into it. I think it's a good way of doing it. If those consultants fail in their estimates before, and it turns out that the projections came out woefully deficient, then we have data at least to confirm whether or not we should hire those people again, and what went wrong in the process of making these kinds of decisions. So it's a very valid concept to come back afterwards and figure out what were the original objectives of the project, what was the income that was projected, and how are we doing against it, and what is the overall impact on the overall economics of the area. So I think that we need to demonstrate how we, after the fact, come back to review the original objectives that we set in mind, that we set forward earlier. And I think that's what's missing in many of the projects of the city. We do have a significant number of initiatives that come from City Council. Sometimes I'm surprised at the level of work you're actually handing out to the staff and their ability to come back forward with every idea that comes up. The problem is that I don't see an overall, all-encompassing vision and direction with how it is that you're taking the city. I see a significant number of initiatives and policies, but I don't see them tie up. A very simple concept with regard to evaluating traffic being the number one issue 4 years ago during the election, and 2 years ago it was as well, for us to have at least a basic baseline on how it is that this traffic is moving along on the basic thoroughfares in Glendale. I think it is justified to say that if a particular statement on the EIR states something as being projected and truthful in a quality evaluation, that we come back a few years later once the projects are done to see if those projections actually came true and to learn from it. The same thing we should be able to do with regard to the finances. A clear and objective presentation on the outcomes of the project that you put forward. $77 million, we could have done a lot of money with that if the financial justifications were not there. We could have put a park. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any other cards, so I will close oral communications. The next item, please.
On the business agenda at 6A is Director of Development Services regarding report on bid proposals received for the lighting console project, spec number R-36, revised by the Alex Theater. At A1 is motion accepting the lowest responsible bid from Angstrom Stage Lighting in an amount not to exceed $18,634.04, including 10% contingency.
So it's pretty straightforward.
So moved.
Second.
I was going to call on Mr. Weaver because he
That's
caught my eye
quite
first,
okay.
but I don't think
I'm
he'll
sorry.
object to moving
I'm
forward
sorry.
in this manner. Is there any final discussion before we take roll on this accepting the bid? Roll call, please.
Agency members Draymond,
Yes.
Quintero,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Yusefian.
Aye.
Chairman Najarian.
Yes. Thank you. Next item.
Is there any agency member or staff comments?
Do you have any comment, Mr. Weaver?
Yeah, speaking for Barry, I guess when I say it, as far as I know, the Alex Theater now has the state-of-the-art sound system in the United States that, well, it ties at least because other potential clients of the sound company are being brought to the Alex Theater in Glendale to hear the best sound system around, which is to our benefit. And it's the only theater in the San Fernando Valley where you can see Oscar-nominated films because of the projection system or whatever. Other than that, you have to go to Hollywood for that. So we do have a gem. And now, upgrading an outdated board is going to just make it even better. So, thank you, Barry, you and your staff.
Thank you. Mr. Draymond.
Thank you to Angstrom Lighting for many, many, many fine years of work in America.
Okay. Any other comments? If not, do we have new business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Agency is adjourned.